Hello. Well, this is what we've sort of been working on for the past couple of months, and I'm going to go through this in maybe a bit more depth because I'm hoping there are some PHP devs on the call that may not be completely familiar with Dagger as a tool. So what we've had up until about a week ago, when this initial implementation of the SDK was merged, was we had an SDK which wrapped around the GraphQL API in Dagger, which basically allowed you to programmatically interact with the Dagger engine. And you could do a lot of things with that. You could build containers, grab directories, move things around, do a lot of the stuff that I'm going to show today. But what we've added now is module support, which allows you to actually build a module and incorporate other modules from other people and share them about, so you can have reusable components in your CI pipeline that you can reuse either internally or you can actually publish them on GitHub and on the Daggerverse, and they can be reused across any project that anyone's got. When you're building a module, what you would need to do is start off by initializing a module. And you pass to the SDK flag, which is currently we're going to be using the GitHub URL. However, there's a pull request that is hopefully going to be in for the next released version of Dagger, which actually puts an alias in for this. You don't need to worry about remembering this long SDK path. And I will give it a directory to go into, and that will start. What this does is it's building, use the current SDK to run code generation from your local Dagger engine instead of just the default one. So it grabs all the functions that are available on the GraphQL of the local Dagger engine, and sort of automatically generates this SDK directory, and then does a composer install so it's available to you. And it generates you your module file, which looks like this. What we can do with that then is this is like the default module. All of the SDKs are default generating this module file, which contains two Dagger functions, which we've just got an echo function, which I can demonstrate using Dagger call, passing in my module name, and then the function name that we want to call, and with a value. And that will instantiate this function, and what that's going to return is a container, which we'll see out on the command line here. And then if we can continue to use that container object, and we can call one of the methods on the container object that's been returned from the SDK, and we'll actually see the value coming out of the function call. So having a bit more of a dig into what we've actually got here, in the generated code, the way we tell Dagger what functions are available in our module is we have Dagger objects, which are classes which contain Dagger functions. So in order to expose a method on a class to the Dagger engine, you have to basically put the attribute on the Dagger function. And you can also add documentation to explain what the function does. And further down, you can also see we've got this argument tag, which you could use to document the arguments. And if I just demonstrate that quickly here, you can call the Dagger functions option, which will actually show you the functions and all the descriptions on them. Now, obviously, everything you can see you're doing inside the functions is what we previously had on the SDK that was available if you'd install it through Composer. But now these are actually reusable. So here's one I actually created earlier, which is a PHP module. And what I've built in here is a fairly basic module. And what this does is it creates a container from the PHP standard Docker container PHP images. So they've got several different variants: Apache, CLI, the FPM version, which you can use, and they've also got all the various different PHP versions. So this is actually a module that I created when we were testing all of this. And what we can actually do in this demo module is I can actually install that module, which was created earlier. This is where the real power from this new module SDK comes in. Now that we've got that, the Dagger engine will have regenerated this SDK for us. And if I now go and add a new Dagger function to our SDK, it actually adds to the Dagger object. It adds the PHP module that I've just installed here. So you can actually call the functions which are defined here directly from the other module. So we can do a CLI here, and I can also add extensions. This is a small function that I've added to my my module. Is one of the functions on it is with extension. And then we grab the container, and then if we do something like an execute and PHP -i, and then we just get that to re-scan the module, the new function. That will pick it up. And then you see that function will now exist in the module output. So we've got this new hello PHP function. And if I run this function and grab the standard out from the container that we've returned, you'll actually see that it's calling the submodule, grabbing a CLI container, and this is going through all the setup from the module that I created earlier, installing Xdebug. And after it's finished that, we've got the whole PHP info output, which shows Xdebug is there. We've got a container based on the PHP container. So this obviously gives you a lot more power and reusability of CI things, and allows us to continue building on Dagger for building pipelines in PHP. And hopefully we'll be able to build on this. There are still a few functions that are missing from the SDK, but most of the core Dagger abilities are already built into the SDK. So you can use all the Dagger built-in functions, and you can actually create your own. One of the things that we had there was this PHP container special object, which allows for adding extensions to the PHP container before you return it. So we'll be able to build things for like common PHP CI tasks that can then be reused and just pulled in as part of your pipelines, and speed up building pipelines very usable, and getting all the other advantages of Dagger.